Hey loonies, Ben the Looney here. You hear me talk a lot about cartoons, movies, and most recently, artists. But there was another form of art that is a huge part of my life. Music. While classic rock is my favorite music genre, I love all kinds of different music, including blues, jazz, country, hip-hop, heavy metal, pop-punk, and I'm even developing an ear for Eurodance recently. I'm weird. Point is, I have a very massive taste when it comes to music. Not a drawing session goes by where I don't have Spotify playing some tunes, nor is a trip to the store complete without one of my CDs playing in my car. Yes, CDs. What are those? Well, kids, there was a time we didn't have all these fancy smancy iPods to listen to our music on. We used to have to buy our music on these little discs. However, what happened when you were looking around a store and you didn't know what music to buy? This is where album covers came in. It was the job of these works of art to make you want to buy a CD. Unfortunately, album covers have become a lost art thanks to the rise of digital music. So the need to make a detailed painting has been shoved aside in exchange for your favorite artist just standing around doing nothing. Riveting. As a lover of art, I get lost looking at these album covers, as they had so much effort put into them that I can see them hanging in art museums. But I'm also a lover of controversial artwork, the kind of stuff that causes public outcries and leads to said media getting banned or censored. Album covers are no stranger to this. So, I'm going to take a look at all the famous banned and controversial album covers I can find and give my opinion on the pieces, asking if they really deserve to be banned. Now, there is a lot of albums in this category. I don't want to make this video too long, so I'll break each of them up in terms of subject matter. So, let's start with the most controversial subject matter on the face of the earth, boobies. Let's take a look at album covers that were banned that had to do with nudity or sexual themes. Jimi Hendrix's Electric Ladyland. On the surface, this one ain't so bad. Just a filtered picture of the god of guitar, Jimi Hendrix himself. But, even before CDs, kids, there was a thing called vinyl. What? Vinyl is still around? Huh. Anyway, this intended cover that you see now wasn't ready by the time the album was released, so instead you got... oh my... Electric Ladyland indeed. I'll take them all to go, Garcon. Yeah, this one is kind of obvious. But from what I've read, this was released just fine in the UK, but by the time the album came over to the US, hell no, we ain't having none of that. Not a bad photograph. But how cool was this photographer to get all these naked ladies together in one room? Lucky son of a gun. John Lennon and Yoko Ono, Unfinished Music No. 1, Two Virgins. Before John Lennon was making classic albums like Plastic Ono Band and Imagine, he and Yoko made experimental records that sound just as good as broken glass scratching a chalkboard. But most noteworthy is the album cover. What would be appropriate for an album called Two Virgins? Of course. Honestly, seeing Yoko Ono naked might not be what any male attracted to women would like to see. But hey, it's not as offensive as their music. Blind Faith. The hell is wrong with people? Alice Cooper. Love it to death. Okay, for this next one, tell me what you guys think. Can you find anything wrong with this cover? You don't see it either? Well, this album got banned on the sheer fact that Alice Cooper had his hand placed in a way that made his thumb look like his man-meat. Are you serious? That was enough to get this cover airbrushed? Did thumbs used to be that offensive? Man, the US could be such wussies back then. Mom's Apple Pie. This one comes from a band so obscure that this album cover is their only claim to fame. Again, can any of you tell what's so offensive about this cover? Got nothing? Well, according to the wiki page, it was banned because the pie is shaped like a woman's pussycat. Really? What's with the banning of things that look like other things? It's just a pie for Pete's sake. People in 1972 were so easy to offend. Yet, these same people made Fritz the Cat one of the highest grossing films of that year. Go figure. David Bowie, Diamond Dogs. Ah, David Bowie, one of my favorites. Now we're talking. As you can see, nothing really to complain about on the front, other than the fact I don't like the way one of those dogs is looking at me. What do you want from me? But we turned the album around and... Yeah. I wasn't sure if I should censor this or not, as dog genitalia is different from people, but I did anyway. So apparently, people were offended by dog meat back then. I think I found out the real reason for neutering pets. Golden earring, Moontan. This one's pretty self-explanatory. A naked lady. It was fine over in its home country of Netherlands, but heaven forbid the US sees female breasts. So we were treated with this boring cover. Give us the naked lady, dagnabbit. Led Zeppelin, Houses of the Holy. Led Zeppelin, another one of my favorites. They were no strangers to controversy with this one. This one is pretty minor, as it's just a butt. They show butts in kids' movies and cartoons all the time nowadays, so what's the big deal with this? Oh well. Since then, the album has been displayed in record stores nationwide. No censorship needed. Roxy Music, Country Life. Roxy Music's Country Life, a criminally underrated band and a criminally underrated album. As you can see, it's two ladies. One is covering her bare breasts while the other's nipples are clearly visible through her shirt. Hence the censoring. Not much worth commenting about this one, except that it was banned in the Netherlands. Yeah, the same country that allowed golden earrings Moontan. So let me get this straight, Netherlands. This is fine, but this wasn't? I question your standards. Virgin Killer, Scorpions. The German heavy metal band Scorpions make their first entry in this analysis. Keep in mind, I said first. And this is another cover I did not feel comfortable downloading because it was so controversial that the Wikipedia article for the album went under investigation of England's Internet Watch Foundation to conclude if it was considered child porn or not. Dang! So, in some countries, they released this alternative cover. Can't say I disagree with that replacement. Virgin Killer? More like Boner Killer. Next album. Lovehunter Whitesnake. From one heavy metal band to another, here's Whitesnake's Lovehunter. I really like the artwork for this one. Reminds me a lot of Frank Frazetta. But, of course, it showed a girl's booty, so it was controversial. You know what's weird? How come you can show guys' butts in cartoons made for kids of all things, and nobody cares because it's played for laughs? Yet you can't show a woman's butt, not even in TV shows that are aimed at adults? Censorship makes a whole lot of sense, don't it? Well, thankfully, this is one of the few album covers that wasn't changed, as the band refused to bow down to censorship. Respect, Whitesnake. I shall listen to your whole discography now. Lovedrive Scorpions. Here we have Scorpions again. They sure loved rustling some jimmies, didn't they? Here, on the front cover, a guy is trying to get gum off of a woman's breasts. Innocent enough. Then you flip the album over and, uh-oh, exposed nipple alert! Naughty, naughty! So, they had to make an alternative cover. That actually looks more metal than the other one. I mean, this one looks like it's for a soft rock band or something. Would you expect this to be for a heavy metal band? This one actually has metal. Literally. But, give me that girl with the gum on her tit any day. Animal Magnetism, Scorpions. Scorpions again! Dang, were these guys trying to set a record for the most controversial album covers for a band? Anyway, this one really isn't explicit. You might not see it at first. I didn't. But this one is more or less controversial because of the idea it conveys. Here we have a woman on her knees, along with a dog, looking up at a man who's standing. If you don't get it, this album is projecting that women are on the same level as dogs. I think it's best we move on here. Seek jungle, go join your gang, yeah, city all over it, go ape crazy, bow wow wow. This next one was a little crazy. And no, I don't mean the cover, I meant that title. Make of that what you will. So, this album by British new wave band Bow Wow Wow is a photo recreation of the famous Luncheon on the Grass painting by Edward Manet. Looks innocent enough, until you read that the girl is the band's lead singer, who was 14 at the time. Yeah. Although, to the album's credit, it ain't explicit. You don't really see any naughty bits of her. That being said, this was also one that was under investigation. By her parents of all people. What were they expecting when they allowed their little girl to join a rock band? Rock stars do weird stuff. So, they made an alternative cover that looks more like the crime scene of her murder for public nudity. Come and get it, Whitesnake. Whitesnake again, those little troublemakers. So, take a look at this one. Yes, this one was censored. What's so bad, you might ask? You're not gonna believe this. It's because the snake's mouth is shaped like a vagina. Oh, for crying in the... That's what snakes' mouths look like! Yes, people, there are objects out there that look like sex organs. Why don't we censor those? I don't like how hot dogs look. Let's make those look like guns. That's not damaging to kids. How about bubbles? They look too much like boobs. Let's make bubble wands that are shaped like samurai swords. Oh, SpongeBob shows his butt in several episodes of the show? Pfft, what's so bad about that? Sorry, I'm still on that. The pros and cons of hitchhiking. Roger Waters. Next, we see an album from one of the biggest douches yet most talented people in the music industry, Roger Waters. Here was his album, The Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking. Once again, another fine female bum fell victim to prudes. Fun fact, the woman in this photograph is British porn star Lindsay Drew. Nice. What wasn't so nice is why this album was censored. This was released during the height of the proto-third wave feminism movement, the larval stage of the feminism movement we deal with now. So, feminists protested this album cover for, get this, promoting rape. It's just a picture of a naked woman trying to pick up a ride. How? What? You gotta... Alabama? Alaska? Arkansas? Well, this album cover became controversial for that reason, no matter how ridiculous of a reason it was. Bounded by Blood, Exodus. This is a weird case. So this one by thrash metal band Exodus was released just fine the first time. However, when it was reissued later in the decade, it came out with this boring cover. Then modern reissues have put the original cover back in its place. Huh. Guess the late 80s went through an easily offended phase. Probably were preparing for the edginess of the grunge movement. Frankenchrist, Dead Kennedys. Here's one by one of my favorite bands, Dead Kennedys. Really innocent album cover, just some Shriners riding along in their little carts. However, when you got this album back in the 80s, you'd open it up, and there was a painting called Penis Landscape by H.R. Geiger. Yes, that H.R. Geiger. A painting so explicit that I can't even show it to you because to censor it would just result in a black background. This actually led to one of the most famous cases of free speech and obscenity when the band's lead singer, Jello Biafra, yes, that's his name, went to court and had to defend free speech by giving artistic significance for including the painting in his album. The lawsuit cost Biafra so much that it almost drove his record label to bankruptcy. He won the case, but then the next year, the band got sued by Shriner members who were in the picture. Can't these guys catch a break? Jello has since been championed as a hero of free speech and an outspoken critic of censorship in art. Slippery When Wet, Bon Jovi. We now have a cover by one of my least favorite bands, Bon Jovi. Technically, this cover was rejected by the record label before it was released. It's unclear whether it was because the label thought the sexist cover would hinder sales, or because they didn't like the pink border. We don't know, but truth be told, I kinda like this cover better. I like how they were able to write the name of the album on wet glass. It's simple, but effective. That being said, doesn't change the fact that I can't stand living on a prayer. Appetite for Destruction, Guns N' Roses. Alright, Guns N' Roses, now we're talking. So, this is another cover art that didn't get released, but it was moved to the inner sleeve of the album. This thing is a work of art, folks. We got a robot that just got done raping a girl about to be crushed by a giant, whatever the hell that thing is supposed to be. This artwork is so surreal and well painted, I love it. But it was too badass for the mainstream, so the record label had to come up with the more recognizable album cover we see now. Like I said, this image was moved to the inside sleeve of the album, so great artwork didn't go unnoticed. And when your art is featured in one of the highest selling albums ever, I'd say that's a huge honor. Nothing Shocking, Jane's Addiction. Ironically, an album titled Nothing Shocking shocked everybody. Here we have a surreal sculptured art piece created by Jane's Addiction's frontman. We got two naked conjoined twins sitting on a park bench while their heads are on fire. In other words, David Lynch's wet dream. Once again, cause tits are the most offensive thing in the whole darn world, several stores refused to stock the album. So to compromise, the record label put brown paper over the CDs. Well, that's one way to get around it. Mother's Milk, Red Hot Chili Peppers. The Red Hot Chili Peppers are no stranger to controversy either. Ah, shoot, and here I thought exhibitionists who perform on stage naked would be such well-behaved gentlemen. This is one I'll never understand for being banned. For one thing, I don't even need to censor it. It censors itself. But A lot of stores refused to carry it because they felt the lady was showing too much skin. Are you stroking me? What she shows is no worse than what you're going to see at a beach if you see girls wearing bikinis. And, again, we can show guys' bare butts on TV. That's fine. But we can't see a little side boob? Big ones, Loverboy. Next, we have an album cover by 80s cheese band, Loverboy. They suck.
Oh, no, they don't. I saw them in '85 at Madison Square and they kicked ass.
Anyway, this cover is made up of several little pictures. Not too bad. Until you get to the bottom row and you see tatas. Dang it, Loverboy, didn't you get the memo? Female breasts are the most offensive thing on the planet, dagnabbit. Convert to your conformist overlords. I will say that it is a nice firm rack on her. I wouldn't mind finding out who she is and seeing more of her. Heck, I don't even need to see the rest of her. This'll do. I'll see you guys later. I need a minute. Or several. And there's a look at some controversial album artwork. Keep in mind, I said some. We barely scratched the surface, and I got more I wanted to look at. But we'll save that for another time. So, what are your guys' favorite album covers? Controversial or not controversial? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, stay horny, my friends. Loony! I meant to say loony. Okay? Okay.